Good evening, you lot. Welcome to part 2 of our YouTube Q&A. I have to say the first video has been an absolute success and is already a number 1 out of our last 10 videos, which speaks for itself. This video is also going to be just as fun, and I look forward to seeing your comments and reactions to what we talk about. But I won't waste any more of your time. Let's get stuck in. Will you watch Criminal Minds? Eventually. Wow, this is... holy mother of God. This is like a paragraph. Hey Dunk, I'm going to ask just 2 things. When are you going to do your chamber cosplay? I've done my chamber cosplay actually already, in fairness. And the chamber cosplay, I think, is still in the drawer there somewhere. Never to be taken out ever again. Unless we do a milestone. In the future, would you ever start doing subscriber goal events? Like, say you got 30 people to follow you on Twitch and reacted and reached your goal. You should do a fun thing where you have, for example, play with inverted controls. Now, I've not done this consistently on streams, but I've done this in our uncapped streams. Last year we did 2 uncapped streams, one in April, one for Halloween, and I'll probably end up doing something similar this year. We always end up having little things like that with incentives where when we reach a subscriber goal or a donation goal, we do a milestone like dyeing my hair or things like that. I won't be doing that again because I can't go blonde again. One little last message. Your streams are the best and I love watching them after I get back from school because it's like a sweet treat after having to learn and work. I really appreciate that, and I'm glad we can be a space for you to come and relax after school, because school can be tiring. So another good question. I was actually unsure if you guys were actually going to ask this or not, but where does my main income come from and how old are you? I think there's nothing bad about being transparent about income from an educational perspective. I would never be one to gloat and, you know, show off what I'm earning or whatever, because in this industry, it's never the same every month and it's always fluctuating from really, really low to kind of happy days for me. So my main income as of right now, I would say consistently, is through Twitch. It's based through how many subscribers I get every month, how many gifted subs, how many donations and things like that. And it comes through every month on around the same day. I make other income through doing campaigns and brand deals with brands like Logitech or Meta, and they absolutely help bring a little bit of consistency to my income, because if you imagine it like a really uneven line where I could have 4 months of earning barely above my rent, but then have another month where we do really well and it kind of evens it out. So if you take the average for what I make every year, it's probably not that bad. But if you were to look at like 4 months, they could be really low and it could look like I earn very little, if that makes sense. I'm currently 24, I'll be 25 in April, which means that I'm expecting my frontal lobe to develop. I'm going to be getting very scared about getting close to 30. Not that there's anything wrong with being 30 before all you boomers come into my comment section and start shouting at me for that. I also thought somebody might ask this earlier, but I'm very surprised that it's taken this time to get here. But how did you find out that you were dyslexic? I've told this a couple of times on stream before, but in fairness, I don't fully know the ins and outs of it because it was my mum and dad that kind of set me up to go and do these tests. But I basically went to learning support centers and completed tests like the kind of shape games where you had to match the shape to fit the space, or complete the puzzle, or remember a phone number, or even like crawl on the floor, and whichever arms that you use together with a leg is a demonstration of how your brain works. Like loads of those kind of practical and mental and kinesthetic tests. And eventually they had enough data to basically diagnose me with dyslexia, and it kind of went from there, and I got support using the information that I had got in the test, if that makes sense. That was all around while I was like maybe 10 to 14 maybe. In all honesty, I don't fully know the ins and outs of the story, but if you would like more on that, again, comment down below and I can probably find out some more about you if you like. Who are all your sponsors? Do I feel as if that is Fallon asking that question? I'm not sure. Currently, we don't necessarily have sponsors sponsor us every single month.
I've got no money.
But we have brands that we are partnered with. So we're partnered with Logitech Gaming, and we're partnered with Meta. We've also worked with loads of brands in the past, but it's difficult because they don't sponsor our streams technically. They do it by gifting us items like a microphone or coming back and asking for campaigns. So I would say those are the brands that we probably worked with the best. Fallon's probably going to shout at me because I've not said something properly there, but she can maybe put a message in the comment section and give you more light. What is my favorite food? Whoa. We had this conversation the other day on stream where we asked if those are, and you guys can answer this in the comment section actually, because I would be intrigued as to know your answer. If you had a tournament of a World Cup of food cuisines, so Italian and Chinese playoff, and whoever wins goes to the next round, and eventually you'd have a final, a World Cup final of 2 cuisines that have made it all the way through, who would be in your final and who would win? And I'm not really sure, to be fair. My favorite food that I've had most so recently would actually be risotto. I love risotto, and pasta and risotto are just unreal, but sometimes risotto just pips it for me. If anyone knows what Cullen skink is, it's a fish. I had a Cullen skink risotto up north by a place that was literally fresh by the sea, and it was so unbelievably good that right now that's like the best risotto that I think I've ever had necessarily. So that's the one that's the one that probably comes to mind when I think of my favorite food. But I wouldn't have that consistently. But my favorite food is like chicken and rice or beef and rice, and I could have those every single day for the rest of my life. But they're not like my number one. Do you get what I mean? I feel as if I've rambled there, but there's 2 different answers. Where do you want to travel the most to? New places, genuinely. I want to go to new places that I've not been. I love the idea of ticking off different cities that I've never been to. I'm happy to travel to the same cities for certain reasons, but ideally I would just like to, like anyone, I just want to travel the world. You hear so many stories about people going to Australia or Thailand and working their way over to like Japan and America, and it just sounds really interesting. So yeah, I want to try while I'm young, and I don't have a lot of time left. I don't need to stay in Scotland if I don't want to. I want to go and travel as much as I can, and I'm happy to spend my money on that because I think it's good experiences. Ultimately, guys, I just want to build my dad lore. That's all I want to do. What languages do I speak? I only speak one language. I speak English. I can speak some Spanish, but it's not good enough to the point where I think I'd be like, I speak Spanish. And I can speak a little bit of French. I do not speak Scottish Gaelic. No. It's actually quite rare that you come across people that speak Scottish Gaelic, because it's very much in certain areas of Scotland, and if you're not from there, you're not going to get taught it. It's not natural for you to be taught Scottish Gaelic in Scottish schools, depending on obviously the area that you're from. No, I do not. It's a very complicated language though. My favourite way to eat potatoes? I think it's got to be a jacket potato. Having a bit of chili con carne or tuna, it goes down swimmingly. Good way to get your protein in. In the near future, do you see yourself ever working with Riot? Well, there we are. It's a really good question tied in with what we said before, but yes, I would love to. I think we've got good connections to Riot, and I'd like to think that we conduct ourselves in a certain way that other people would be inclined to speak positively about us. You know, I like to speak positively about others because they deserve it, but also in the hope that other people speak positively about us, and if the right person hears it at the right time, it might result in us being able to work with people that we really want to work with. So I would love to say yes. I don't know, but I want to say yes. Is there anything you would change about your content journey? Sorry, let me try that again. Is there anything you would change about your journey content-wise? I would say there's a lot of stuff looking back, I wish I didn't do it that way. For example, I gained a large following through Warzone Customs. So if you go on my Twitch, you'll see I have 17k followers. But it's not an accurate representation of how many active followers we have. Like, absolutely not. A lot of them are gained during when we played COD, and I feel as if it looks like an inflated account, like based on the amount of viewers that we get. So, you know, if you think about it, like I've got 17,000 followers, but we average maybe 60 viewers. That's a really small portion of the 17,000 people that apparently follow us. So not that I have any control over it, but I wish I delayed my growth. I wish my growth was closer to like where I am now. I'd rather hit a large amount of growth now and spend 4.5 years making very little growth than the timing that I had my growth at. I wasn't really able to ride the wave. And so I rode it a little bit and I gained a little bit of traction from it. And then I kind of just like fell off a little bit, mainly because I was doing so much university wise and doing so much teaching wise that I didn't have the time to, you know, put out a video every single day and really reap the benefits. I would say the timing of it would be very different, and I think I'd be in a more flattering position just now if my content had kicked off more recently. But again, I don't really have a choice about that necessarily, so maybe that's quite picky. Next question. Do you think gaming is your long-term career plan? What sort of goals do you want to see yourself achieving? I really like that you guys are asking so many questions about my career and goals and things like that. So I really appreciate that. But I think I've touched on this a little bit so far. In terms of my long-term career plan, I would love for it to be gaming. I think that the ideal world is I game for as long as I can, and then I pick up a role within gaming and streaming that's not like exclusively streaming. Like whether that's a more corporate role within an organization, or like being the person that gets to work with the streamers. I feel as if that's a natural progression, because in the same way that like PE teachers, it's common for them to go into higher roles like deputies or higher roles that involve more people management, because it's natural for PE teachers to be good at people management and social skills. Being good as a streamer and spending so many years in streaming, it feels only natural that it would work well if I worked on the other side and worked with streamers, because I would understand their perspective and their thought process and what they were worried about, and I think it would foster a really good professional relationship if I was to then take that step. So I would say content, streaming, gaming for as long as I can, and then ideally, whether it's through a group of people that I've really enjoyed working with or a friend that works for someone, pick up a role that involves still being very active within that kind of area of work, but maybe on the other side of things rather than the streamer. Hello, post-production Dunk here. Watching this back, I think I've given off the impression that I don't actually want to pursue my personal brand, which is not actually at all true. If I was able to grow and become as big as possible and do content creation and streaming for the rest of my life, I absolutely would. That would be like a dream come true. But it's also important that I plan for scenarios where that doesn't necessarily come true, and that's my point about potentially streaming and gaming for as long as I can, and then moving into a role where I'm on the other side of things, supporting streamers to help their growth. And that would definitely happen at a much older age. Do not worry, I'm not planning to do that anytime soon. I just thought I'd clarify that up, just in case it seemed like I was wanting to drop my dyslexia and move into a corporate role, because, funnily enough, that is not what I want to be doing. Okay, back we go. Who's my favorite mod? I don't have favorites. Come on now, you know this. You are looking for an answer there, and I'm not going to give it to you. What inspired you to start streaming? And what is my favorite part of interacting with my community? Also, love your content. Keep it up. Thank you so much. It means the world. What inspired me? I think I've said what inspired me to start teaching. That's not what they asked. I think I've said what inspires me to start streaming was very much about, I was watching streams while I was in uni, and I liked the streamer that I was watching, and I kind of wanted to be able to do that, and it presented an opportunity for me to just start and try and become like them. And I enjoyed it when I did start. It was really exciting. I basically just started it without the idea that it would ever be anything. I started it thinking, I'm just going to do this for however long and just stream with the excitement of streaming. And then it started to pick up. So I don't think I actively woke up one morning and went, I'm going to become a streamer. I just decided that I was going to start streaming and see what happens. My favorite part about interacting with my community. Great question again. You guys, hats off to you guys. Some good questions. It's genuinely, I think it's the daily interactions that you just hear about what they've been up to, or you just talking to them about what their day and actually just hearing about what they've been up to, because I think that is interesting to me. It's so cool for me to think that we have so many people dotted around the world that are doing so many different things and are part of so many different cultures, and every day for each individual viewer is so different. So you hear so many different stories. It's not, if you got 10, 20 viewers, you're not going to hear the same 10, 20 stories when you ask how their day's gone or what they've been up to. So I never know what to expect. The spontaneity of being like, I have no idea what they're going to say is quite cool to me. But generally, I think just getting to know people as well. Making friends and getting to know people. Yeah, there's so many things that I like about interacting with the community, but it's really shocked me how close I've become with our community over the last year. I think because of teaching and streaming, it's always very important to keep those two things separate. But now that I'm not doing the teaching anymore, I've gradually gotten closer and closer and closer with our community. And I didn't see that happening, but I am a little bit hooked, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But that shows that I generally do enjoy interacting with the community, because if I didn't, then I would not be close. Does that make sense? Oh, another very insightful question. You guys are insightful, man. Wow. Where do I see myself in 5 years? 5 years time. 5 years. That's a long time. To think that whenever somebody asks me a question like that, I think, where was I 5 years ago? And that was just starting my streams. And I was halfway through uni. Yeah, I was a scrawny little boy with no dress code. Still don't know any dress code, don't worry. Before you guys hop in there and be like, what do you mean no dress code? You still don't have a dress code. No streaming viewers, no followers, like, because you could think, oh, nothing's going to happen in 5 years. But then if I think about how much has changed in the last 5 years, it's insane. So honestly, I don't know where I could be in 5 years. I would love to be in a better position than I am now. Streaming, living, everything, relationships, friends, everything. I would just like to be, if this is where I am now, I would just like to make progress and be doing more things that I am now and pushing myself more out of my comfort zone. I would basically say, is that a cheap answer? There's no real solidified thing that I would think I'd be doing in 5 years, apart from getting old, getting close to my 30s. Favorite agent to play? Clove, right now. I've got all the time in the world. And why? Because they're Scottish and I feel as if I play well with them. I'm able to smoke and carry if I need to, so it's a good mix. Favorite skin and favorite gun? Vandal. Favorite skin? Oh, it's probably still Kuranami right now. Can't lie. That skin is an absolute little brain tickler when you hit a headshot. If it's raining outside, what do I normally do? I like it, depending on how much rain we've had. If it's a rainy day, I like it. I'll just come sit down, get myself a coffee and sit and kind of hug the coffee and do some editing. I generally, that is absolutely what I'd do. If it's in the evening and I'm not like working, I'll sit down with a cup of tea and I'll play some TFT. You know what I mean? There's always a hot drink involved. I feel as if that kind of goes hand in hand. If you ever, a cold rainy day, you just want to get yourself cozy, get yourself like a hot drink, like a hot chocolate or coffee, tea, and just sit and just chill. That is exactly what I'd do. How's it being a little fella? I am 6'1".
I'm not that small, I'm just far away.
I'm saying it on my chest. I ain't no small man. My biggest aura moment. My biggest aura moment. Parcel. I just got a new hoodie just ordered, and it just arrived. Today is an exceptional day, but I'm not going to put it on because the whole video I'm in this hoodie, so you guys don't get to see it. Unlucky. Although you might come, if you're on stream soon, you'll probably see it there. What were you yapping about? Biggest aura moment. Guys, every single day. Come on, you're acting like it's not. Come on now. What are some games you're looking forward to playing in the future? Ooh, GTA 6, when it eventually comes out. You know what? Someone asked where I'm going to be in 5 years. It's probably still going to be waiting for GTA 6.
Comedy.
Is there any follow-up games that I've missed? I'm actually looking forward to playing the new Spider-Man that just came out, in fairness. I don't know if there's any other... I'm actually not up to date with that many like big games that I'm waiting for it to come out, so maybe that's my bad. But I don't necessarily know. Can you name all of your first 10 subs? No. Doge and Ethan, aka Crimson, and Ray Ray are my ones that I remember. Beat, I think I can remember as well. You guys will have to drop a comment down below and let me know if there are any others. Maybe, I don't know if it is bad that I can't remember them because it was a long time ago, but in fairness, like, I appreciate for what they did for me back then, but in fairness, I don't see them now at all. So it's hard for me to even remember their names. I don't know if that's arrogant or not, but I think I know the ones that are still with us to this day, so, you know, I'm trying my best. What are my aspirations in life, or am I just freeballing it? I literally am freeballing it, in all honesty. I'm taking it week by week, month by month. There is very little that I've got planned out for the year, and if things happen, they usually come around like the next week or the next month. So I have no idea what is really around the corner, but I like it that way. It motivates me to work hard, because if I've got nothing around the corner, then I should be working harder to make that happen. But yeah, I'm freeballing it, literally. I've got no shame in saying that. My aspirations in life: stay close with my family and care for them, become successful in my work and what I'm doing, and grow and try and build my brand, stay close with my friends and see them as much as often, and potentially move away from Scotland. I'd like to live somewhere different, to experience some different life, some different accents, and some different cities. That's probably all I can think of off the top of my head. Have you got any advice for a streamer who averages 5 to 10 viewers? I mean, 5 to 10 viewers is already class. You've already got a core group who come and watch you. I think it's very easy to get kind of your head stuck in this weird world that you should be having more viewers, or, you know, which 5 to 10 viewers, you're already above so many streamers that are on like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So hats off to you there. I would say if you're streaming and you're streaming lots, I would literally say cut down your streams to an amount that you're gonna still enjoy, and spend a lot of time on making content from your streams and put them on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. If you're not putting a video out every week, ideally a lot more than just one every week, but if you're not putting videos out consistently on all three of those big platforms, then you can't exactly expect to have a growth where you get loads of new viewers. You're not going to get that on Twitch. So I would say biggest advice is have a think about what makes you, what's your niche, your special trait on stream. Is it your gameplay? Are you funny? Is it your accent? Is it how you game? Is it the game you're playing? And decide what that is, and then hone in on it and make videos on it and put it on the socials. Teach yourself editing. I fully taught myself how to edit through YouTube. You can too. It just takes time, but it's possible. So I guess that's my advice. Would you ever do fitness vlogs with progress and noticeable differences you feel and see? I would do fitness vlogs. I think I'm a part of me that wants to try and do more lifestyle content throughout the rest of this year. There you go. There's another aspiration of mine, and potentially through YouTube as well. So I think I could potentially see myself doing a fitness vlog. I'd like to do it in a nicer, the gym I'm in right now is a very, very busy gym and not particularly aesthetically like nice to look at. So ideally I'd like to be in a quieter gym where I can actually, you know, put something up and not worry about people knocking it over or things like that, like a tripod, sorry, and be able to do it that way. But in terms of noticeable differences you feel and see, I would be able to keep that to myself, but I don't think I could ever post, like, you know how people do like topless pumps, like post gym updates on like their physique and things like that. I don't think I could do that because, again, I've spent 4 years becoming a teacher. Like, if I started posting content that was very much topless photos and gym progress, even though it would be gym progress, I'm mudding myself by putting photos like that out on the internet for people to see. Because if I was to go back to teaching, you would never be able to, you can't teach when your kids have like loads of photos like that. So that's something I'm conscious of. So I wouldn't do that, but I would potentially do fitness vlogs if that answers your question. Who is the best community member on each game you played? I've played a lot of games, but obviously I'm the best at every single game that we've ever played. So
I can smell the copium.
That's a really easy one to answer. It's obviously going to be me. You know, I know you guys will agree with me. Wow, that was a lot of questions. I feel as if that was quite easy to do. I enjoyed answering your questions. I hope I answered all the questions well enough and didn't ramble too much. I know I'm good for that. I also know I'm holding the mic as well, which I prefer to do. It feels slightly more personal when I'm talking. Yeah, I hope this has been really fun. I enjoyed getting a Q&A. I wanted to get to know our YouTube audience and really put ourselves out there. And hopefully the best way for me to do that is for you guys to know more about me so you know who you're watching. And that is through a Q&A where you guys have been able to submit questions. Again, if there's any questions that you want to follow up with or you feel as if weren't answered fully, feel free to come and join us on Twitch. We're obviously streaming every single day bar Wednesdays and Saturdays, and you can join the stream and ask any questions you like. I'll be happy to answer. Obviously, not every single question unless it's rude or, you know, I'm pretty chilled with questions and we're pretty accommodating, so I'm always happy to answer things as you are. Again, thank you so much for firing all these questions. I've had a good time yapping to myself and learning about what it is that you guys really want to know about me. And actually, the questions really surprised me. There was a lot of really insightful ones instead of it just being straight up like weird questions. Obviously, I've skipped a few because there are some odd ones in here that I'm not going to answer, but I think for the most part, I've managed to answer them all somewhat decently. And also, I wanted to keep this fairly uncut. Like, this might be quite a long video because I've not refilmed a lot of this content and it's very much just a kind of one-take wonder. But I think that provides a little bit more authenticity and will hopefully be a smoother watch for you guys too. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Wow, never do that again. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to check out any of our other videos. And my promise to you guys is I will be working on YouTube more this year. And this is only the first step. Hey, we might do something if we hit 2K or 5K subscribers. So let's try and get ourselves there and see what happens. You never know. I will see you guys in the next stream over on Twitch. And I look forward to getting back on this YouTube journey with you guys, whether it be with weird questions in a Q&A or gaming videos. I appreciate you all. Thank you for the questions. I'll be sure to answer any questions in the comments. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate all the questions, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Good night.